This season is absolutely crazy. I didn't see that win coming, but I'm delighted.
Welcome back to the Oxford United review show. Before we get into this, please smash the like button and subscribe. And if you're really enjoying this, head over to our Patreon with some great offers. But Ian, it's time to get into this. It's time to talk about pre-match stuff. It has been an awful, abysmal, abject, terrible week for Oxford United. 2 straight losses on the bounce, coming off really in different form. Really quickly, talk about those and give me the starting lineups for Oxford.
I don't want to dwell on those losses, Thomas. That's why I have expensive therapy to get me through Oxford United seasons. But looking at this starting lineup, it does look like Oxford are trying to be a bit more attacking. Obviously, the big news is Alex Goran is out with a slight injury, which isn't feared to leave him out for a long time, but it does mean he's out of this game. Brannigan's in that kind of deep holding role. Sykes is in midfield, return to the team for him, and a return from injury for James Henry, which is great to see. He has been very much missed in this Oxford United lineup for his quality and for his experience. Shodipo and Barker on the wings, Taylor up front. Return, obviously, as well for Jamie Hansen at right back. But it's an Oxford side that need to show the fans something after 2 pretty woeful performances, as we've just mentioned at the start of this video. Lincoln City were a very strong side. They've been great all season. They beat us very easily on day 1 of the season, and their side still looks extremely strong. Obviously, George Grant is the big player missing for them, but still with the likes of Scully and Anderson and Lewis Montsma, one of the best centre-backs in the league. It's an incredibly strong side that aren't doing that great at the moment, but are still very hard to beat. And putting that in conjunction with Oxford's, how usually they're very poor when they play in front of the Sky cameras, you kind of feared the worst in this one.
Sorry, optimistic brother Alan, brave brother Alan, positive, bold brother Alan. You feared the worst? What is the first rule of this channel?
I know, but in the predictions video, I still did back them, Thomas. I wasn't feeling that confident after what I'd seen.
It is a sensational 2-1 come from behind victory. I believe only the second time this season they've come from behind to win a game. It is a fantastic result against 4th place Lincoln. Ian, we're going to break this down. We're going to talk about this. I have a couple questions for afterwards. But first, the first half. What happened there? Because it started badly.
It did start badly, Tom. The worst possible start Oxford could have from Lincoln's very first attack, which started, from their point of view, a wonderful flowing move, which started right away from their goalkeeper playing it out, and they sliced their way through Oxford and got to the edge of the box, played the ball out to the winger, who played it back to Scully, who somehow managed to control it with 2 players around him and just scuff the ball into the back of the net. It's the sort of goal that goes against you when you've not been playing well. If he'd have got any kind of good connection on it, it would have been blocked by Stevens or the defender in front of him. But 1-0 to Lincoln very early on in the game. All those things that we talked about with Oxford struggling to come back from a goal down in this season, playing badly at the moment and playing badly on the Sky cameras was all coming back. And let's be fair, it was all doom and gloom at that point. But Oxford did get into the game and they did start to play football and they did start to pass it around a hell of a lot more than what we saw certainly against Northampton. And that was really encouraging. And we started to get people like Taylor into the game. We started to get Barker into the game and Sykes and Henry. And Henry back in the side, he's a midfielder that actually couldn't score goals. And he had a couple of great shots, which nearly produced Oxford with an equaliser. And Oxford were constantly knocking in the door and growing into the game. Not to say Lincoln didn't cause problems to Oxford on the break, but Oxford was certainly looking better from an attacking point of view. Maybe we should have had a penalty when Rob Atkinson was fouled in the box. It was a difficult one for the referee to see, but we did get our equaliser, and it came from an unlikely source. It came from Anthony Forde from a corner, which wasn't very well cleared. Taylor did well in the 6-yard line. He probably handled it, to be fair, but the ball was kept alive, and it eventually came to Forde, who smashed it in from about 8 yards. Oxford definitely deserved to be level at half-time, but both sides were playing well. It was a good game of football, and it was nice to actually be in the game for when the second half started.
Yeah, we were doing live stream. Obviously, you can check that out in the top corner. I'm sure it's on there. One of the first cards that's going to come up, but it cheered the entire stream up. If you check the live chat out when the goal goes in, everyone is absolutely buzzing. Oxford really offensive. I think 11 shots, 4 on target, 61% possession in the first half. And you went into the second half just thinking, we could do this. What's going to happen?
I think
But
so. Yeah, I think everybody did get a lot more confident from when that first goal went in, really, and it felt a much more relaxed atmosphere. Mainly because you just seen that Oxford had like shown us something that they're actually willing to fight in a game for the first time in a couple of matches.
so they come in, they're looking really positive, and then the second half kicks off, and Oxford look a little bit like they're still in having a halftime team talk.
Yeah, well, what can you say about the lion's den, Thomas, and having meat in your pocket, as Carl Robinson would say in a baffling quote that he said after the Northampton game. But it does seem to be a
Incoherent.
common theme of us starting half slowly and in a sluggish manner, and we did that, but luckily we didn't concede this time around, and it was a very even Stevens game, really, and I'd say both sides certainly did look good going forward, and both sides there was some last-ditch defending and some good saves from either both goalkeepers. But Oxford did get the winning goal in this game. It came after one of the worst free kicks ever seen in an Oxford United shirt, with James Henry literally just passing the ball to the guy in the wall. But somehow Lincoln managed to give the ball straight back to Oxford. Oxford got the ball wide, a ball into the box, and it wasn't very well cleared, and it fell to Matt Taylor, and he just smashed it in at the back post. Actually, was a save by the goalkeeper that came back out to Taylor. You can put it down in the comments who took the shot. I'm just on autopilot at the moment. There's somebody, and some Oxford player took a shot, and it came out to Taylor, and he smashed it in. And absolutely fantastic to be in the lead. Obviously, the way we've been playing lately, all the nerves came and hit you then because you started thinking, oh my God, we've actually got something to hold on to. Let's not blow this lead.
Absolutely fantastic. They did hold it. I don't actually think at any point in the second half after that you really thought they were going to concede. There were a couple of half chances, but I believe the goalkeeper at the end of the match had the best one of the game.
There was a couple of chances, yeah. The goalie came up in injury time and he had a free header about 8 yards out, but not a very good jump and not a guy who's obviously used to being in that position, and it just looped harmlessly over the bar. And Oxford are able to manage. I actually think Oxford managed the game quite well, and they saw it out and they did well. It was a good performance by both sides. Both sides played well, but it was Oxford who came out on the edge to tight game, really, and it was much needed. A huge shot in the arm for the promotion campaign that looked like it had fallen off the rails, and it was all doom and gloom up until this point, and now finally Oxford have a week off. The players can go away and rest a little bit before we have a massive game on Good Friday against Sunderland.
Brannigan and Sykes in. Brannigan playing out of position. Sykes playing his 18th different position. Half the time he's on the right side of the center midfield. Half the time he's on the left side of the center midfield. Half the time he's a left winger, and the other half the time he's a right winger. That makes two full numbers. My maths are very off right now. But did they have good games? Is my question, because they were playing in basically new positions for them.
I think they both did. I think Mark Sykes had a really good game. When he's at his best, he's a very busy footballer, always trying to impact the game, always trying to like be a bit of a pest around the other midfielders and win the ball back. And he's not got his shooting boots on this season, and that's the case for a lot of Oxford United players, unfortunately. But you do usually get a hell of a lot of effort from Sykes. And I think his best position is in that midfield role. And I'd love to see him getting a run of games in that role, maybe even pushed up a little higher, which is difficult to do when you've got Henry alongside him. But I think he could be a really good attacking midfielder from that role. And I hope he just doesn't get a situation of, right, we need to move you onto another position now. I'd like to see him just get settled run of games in one particular area. Brannigan is Oxford's best midfielder, and he hasn't been amazing this season, mainly due to his injury, which is still clearly causing him an effect on his performances. But he is our best midfielder, and I think you could put him anywhere in that midfield, and he's going to do a darn good job for you. So, with the absence of Goran, I think he is the best fit to go back into that role. And I think he can still have a good influence on the game, and I think he did have a good influence on the game today.
So much positivity in, which is a really nice change in the last couple of ones we've done of this. The word abject has not been said once. I very much
only by you just then.
I always manage to fit it in. It's extremely cromulent. I only have one question before my generic ending question every week. And I gave you warning of this, but it's going to slightly change. Dan Adjie, probably one of the best players last week in a debilitating 2-0 loss. Every time he seems to have a good match, he's relegated to the bench. And then when he comes on, he's like a left winger because apparently he can't play at striker. What?
I don't understand it, and I don't get it. And this is a guy who's got all the attributes to be a great player. in this league, and for whatever reason, Robinson just will not give him a fair run of games in the side. And as you're absolutely right, whenever he does like what he does to Sykes. It's like, well, we need you left wing this week, we need you right wing this week. Right, you're on the bench this week. Okay, now we need you up front this week. So he never gets a chance to really settle. And I think that could be such a dangerous player for Oxford United. And if you put him in another side, I think they'd try and find a way of having him up front with another forward. And I think he would create so many chances for the other striker because he can hold the ball up. He's got pace. He's got power. He's got a good shot on him. I cannot see why Oxford can't find a regular starting place for Dan Adjei. And if not, I think you need to give him at least half an hour in a game to come on and influence it and not just an afterthought sub, which he tends to be. I think he's incredibly unlucky.
I will say I really liked your idea where you said if they do play a 4-2-3-1, playing him as like the Bruno Fernandes cam role, but with the goal of just driving into the space with Taylor and letting like Brannigan and Brannigan stay back a little bit, Henry go a little bit more forward and play those balls in, and almost having a false 10. Is that it? A false 10?
I think it's false 9 or false 10, false isn't 9.
It? Yeah. But he's driving into the box, and that'd be really good. But Ian, equal on points with Blackpool. That's it. They are in the playoff picture. Clearly, they are equal on points with 6th place. I ask you every week. Every week it changes drastically. How do we feel for the rest of the season?
And every week it's like a toss of a coin, isn't it? You know, to see what Oxford United turns up on a football field. They've had 2 games where they were terrible, and then bookended it by 2 very good performances, one against Doncaster and now this one against Lincoln. So obviously I feel a hell of a lot more positive than I did 24 hours earlier. We're right back in the mix. We're level on points with so many sides. It is going to be a promotion picture that's only going to be settled probably not until the last game of the season, and you just need to keep yourself in and around that picture for as long as you possibly can. If this would have been a loss today, that would have been 3 defeats in a row, and it would have been nothing but doom and gloom. This at least starts to, like, it at least keeps Oxford in the picture. It keeps us in the race, and that's all it's all the sides could have done today. That's all Oxford could have done today is gone out and win, and they've done that. And they played pretty well in the process as well.
I think everyone can tell Ian's happy, which is a really nice change because he's a lovely man when he's happy. And when Oxford lose, he mails me pipe bombs in the mail. So it's just not a good day. Thank you all so much for watching. Thank you to everyone who joined in. Thank you to PJ Simpson, Matthew Bowden, Robert Allen, and Grandstand Betters for being Patreon subscribers. Please, if you're enjoying this channel, please consider signing up to Patreon. If we get 10 followers on Patreon, we're going to invite all of them onto a League One predictions. That is our challenge. We set ourselves for at 4 of 10. Please join in. We've only been on for a little time. We love you all dearly. We'll be live streaming next week. I believe it's Sunderland on Saturday, Ian.
Well, it is Sunderland, Thomas, but instead of a Saturday, it's going to be a Good Friday.
It's Good Friday. Oh my God, it's an extra live stream.
It's a fasting day for me, but I'll still be streaming.
It's all very exciting. Please join in on that. Check out our predictions videos next week. Premier League, I think, is back, but I don't know anymore. I don't care because the League One is all that matters. Oxford's all that matters. Come on, you Yellows. We'll see you next week.